Hi guys, this is going to be my respiration and ventilation homework, and what we're going to be doing first, we're going to be going through the diagram of the human respiration, as you can see on the screen, and I'm going to be explaining what each and every component will do and enable for the human body to go through. So as we start with the nasal cavity in the mouth, these are two access points for oxygen to enter into the lungs. And then we have the epiglottis, which is a cartilage flap which stops food from going through the windpipe, or as we should call it, the trachea. And through the trachea there's also a lot more cartilage which stops it from collapsing onto itself. And through the trachea we then go to the bronchi, which enables a splitting of tubes into both the left and right lung. And then when we enter the lungs, we then have the bronchioles, which are smaller airways which enable for the higher surface area for more diffusion at the alveoli. And four or five components that are needed when having a good supply of oxygen are to have the good supply of blood, which can have a high amount of hemoglobin for oxygen to bind to with association. We need a good concentration gradient so that oxygen can actually move into the lower concentration inside the lungs, as well as the carbon dioxide moving out of the human body when we exhale in exhalation. And we need a large surface area, as I said, and the alveoli, when split across, would have a surface area of 75 meters squared, as I talked about last lesson. And there is a 1 cell thick part in the alveoli which enables for faster and easier diffusion of oxygen into our bodies, into the lungs. And we need a moist alveoli, which increases the rate of reaction and diffusion of the oxygen into the human body, also known as the squamous, which is what the alveoli is made of. The second part I'm going to be talking about today will be the inspiration and expiration of the human body. Inspiration is where we will obviously inhale oxygen into the body, and there are many components which help us do this. And what happens is we have our diaphragm, which is not on this diagram, but it'd be just below the lungs right here. And what would happen is the diaphragm will contract, which is going to increase our volume that our lungs can actually expand into. So we're going to have more air to access and enter into our body. We're going to have our external intercostal muscles, which would be around the side of the lungs there, as you can see, the rib cage bone. That's going to cause our rib cage to move upwards and expand, so we also have a higher volume, which will also decrease the pressure in the lungs, so oxygen can easily move into the lungs for more diffusion and gas exchange. And then we go into expiration, where the diaphragm will then relax, so it moves back upwards and decreases the volume in the lungs. We also have the intercostal muscles contracting, which causes the rib cage to, due to gravity, fall back down and also decrease the volume. And overall this is going to increase the pressure, which is going to eject and force oxygen out of, air, back out of our lungs and out through the nasal cavity in the mouth when exhaling. And during exercise there are many other components which help, such as with inspiration we have the scalenes, which helps, and with expiration we have the auxiliary, the abdominal muscles, and the internal intercostal muscles, helping out a whole bunch, as we have talked about. Thank you for listening to my homework, and see you next time.